luso mga taga-pada siya sa kanu grupo no United Youth for Peace and Development atau kay Unipad pag-sponsor kanu niya programa tano yaron banguluan na si Dr. Alustad Rahibel Kudto nya pembasu galaya mano agad taga-padano sa mayabak kutika susuldo kanu agama Islam taga-padano siya sa kanu Voice FM so suara ka 10 Brother Tuali Delfonso, apakah panggacal kanong balingan sa bakinagatan no sa sagunanto kutika sa niadong ba? Kamana mong sugalaya mo siya makinagun nan adan mga issue of pambitilan no, mga updates nando ganito nan walang mga programa gaangayan no nan so nga pantiali tano dino gakinag nan siya ba insyaallah taala labilawan so dala aksesin sa internet, siyabu sa radyo niya, banuliman ba makikinag, so siya mag sa mga kapawasan, nando kapalawan, mga ligidan na inshallah ta'ala, na isampay namin sa kanu, so nunganin siya, gasagabda no, mga bitiyala, makipantag siya sa kanu, kalilintad. Malu ako pagkapanginisal kanu sa ampon ka kanu nepusan niya padian dahil tanong sa meto makaprograma kag ginatuwi ka pagkasulutin ka lu ako sa meto nakaangay sa isulan Sultan Kudarat Province ka adan lu inorganize sa mga grupo no makangudana bang sa Moro binadtuan sa kapapaduntay sa kanu peace process kanu pagalitan ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas tanong sa Moro Islamic Liberation Front ano so sa gunaban niya ba malu mayaw agatamanan so issue na radicalism, extremism taman sa bawang sa violent extremism nyan gapagungan na nagantunan na terrorism na tuwas sa meton so inapas tano adal pantano lo sa isulan na kagay taman sa kagasan daw alhamdulillah ka very successful so kina-launch no third party monitoring team kano kanilan ay ikapat din siya kano mga sinamagadan niya alagon kano bitialan niya public report ay ni-presentiran magidyan siya kano mga media nando so mga civil society groups kag ginakameton na siya pa sa meton naka-anchor so niya programa tano inshallah nandoon taman siya magosol kita no kutika siya sa kanu ka replay tano kanu presentation so third party monitoring team katawan tano third party monitoring team niya to ka TPM ti mga Bangsamoro na organize niya kanu Laguna 2013 isay niya kanu mga mechanism siya sa kanu pagalitana ang gobyerno ng Pilipinas na niyan so MLF kanu kanilan ndiaga sa kanu kapasadan taman sa kanu ka-implement buwa kambalan niya grupo. Siya sa kanu mga miyembro no niya grupo na katawan tano ikisana yalon banguluan na so andangan to EU ambassador siya sa Pilipinas na sign mana si Sir McDonald pad kanu mga miyembro nin so andangan to ugeda resign din representative siya ganat sa Asia Foundation mana si Dr. Stephen Rood siya kanu mga puda miyembro nina so siya sa IHH atau ka IHH alo naka-base sa Turkey mana si Hussein Uruj siya man sa locals na so dua tim mana niya mga peace institutions mana so Gaston G. Ortigas Peace Institute yalon paka-represent na si Madam Karen Tanyada siya man sa kanu ikesa Peace Institute na mana si Dr. Rahibel Kudto membro na atau ka presidente na United Youth for Peace and Development atau ka Unipad. Nakagaiban niya mga Bangsamoro na inibitiyalan nila inipayagilan so kanila lang to 4th annual public report kanang mga media siya sa kanupita siya man kanu kalulumin mga alas 2 mayaba kutika na ini presidente naman siya sa kanu mga grupo na civil society organizations. Ganatin to sa Mindanao, ganat ang representatives lo sa Visayas, nguso lo sa Luzon. Silan inag-host kanu unto programa lo nabato nito sa Ortigas lo sa Manila. Dan panaliman ka no mga kabangsamoro kasudama katalabok kanunto programa no third party monitoring team natalabukan tanon siya reply namin sir kano kaya bago ito napadyokuran ko muna so andang siya partner tano sa MMB si brother to Binabdola sa mayanan na migali dawon kanin lo sa mayas kanin pon sa Manila kan pon mga personal mga transactions ninlo ikadua na so mga taga-padatan no siya sa media, siya sa Mindanao, sa Cotabato City. Sila brother Norgayak, ngo sila Pakata Dennis Arcon, ngo si Kaka Ali Anso. Kasalas-lanin na so Rais o Jamia, so presidente no Albalag Foundation, so presidente Bunmambo no Jamia, presidente Bunmambo no kita no niya siya station. Mana si Sheikh Saada Sindato kano kina participating kina apa sin tamalabo kanunto masla program dan sukran na benal ya Sheikh kano ka participations ya nangatas kita no sa meton na makatataga pada kano isanya alim ulamatan no siya sa Albalag Foundation niya no siya Jamia no siya sa kano station tano. Sabab lo na niya so untuk recorded program lo geda bahasa pun English ya importante na bahasa di kalu-kaluan mga oras dan mataragim tanong sa P2 maginan siya sa kanong mga pointan niya pembitialan nila lo. Ya nangat na narangan to malu ka pasangan so mga babae kinag pag-absorb sa bahasa niya English geda. Pila ginawa kanyo ka pagkasuluting ka timbang sa mga international into a gatherings kay kasana na so mga miyembro no TPMT mga bangsamoro na adan mga foreigners loan liu ka no mga local siya kano ingat no sa Pilipinas kaya na kami doon panlimang kano so makasabot sa bahasa English so no makapangagi sa English tuntay no boss so mga suldos so mga alitano so mga lukis tano sila tuwa pantag kano niya recorded program. Ginakameton niya dan so kinalimo do civil society organizations siya sa kanila sa forum ay alon sa meton nag-organize na so a third party monitoring team.
We have 5 members. Our mandate is to monitor, evaluate, and report implementation of all signed agreements between GPH and MILF. Last 4 years, we are trying to fulfill the mandate of the TPMT on the ground. In every 2 months, we are convening and we are spending 15 days, 2 weeks in the country. The half in Manila, half in Bangsamoro, mostly in Cotabato, Manila, but not limited with these 2 cities. Also, we are visiting other cities of the ARM and neighbor cities. We have 5 members normally. Our chairman, TPMT chairman, is the ex-ambassador, EU ambassador in the country, in Manila, Alistair McDonald. He is sick leave. He is in Brazil now. Because of this, he couldn't join us today. We hope he will join on the coming session. The other member, international member of TPMT was Stephen Root. Many of you know him very well. He was the country representative of Asia Foundation. He retired from the Asia Foundation and he gone to Australia for a time. And also he retired from the TPMT. Now we are waiting the government panel to nominate new international member in TPMT. As a rule, one international nominating from the government, another nominating by the MILF, but accepting by both. Now we are looking at the fifth member of TPMT. Again, we hope on the next session, it will be probably end of the September and beginning of the October, we will come in five members here. My name is Hüseyin Oruç. I'm from the Turkey. I'm Deputy President of the IHH, the Foundation for Human Rights and Freedoms and Humanitarian Relief. But mostly the people knows us as our initials, IHH. We are working in 140 countries. The Philippines is one of them. Mostly in Mindanao, but not limited with the Mindanao. We have a different humanitarian projects in the country. As a member of TPMT, IHH is member of TPMT. Last 4 years, we are coming and trying to do our best to participate and do support for the peace in the country. I want to ask my colleagues to introduce themselves.
Magandang tanghali. I'm Karen Tanyada of the Gaston Z. Ortigas Peace Institute. It's based in Quezon City. We have partners all over the country.
Rahim.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magandang tanghali. I am Rahim Kuntu, President of the United Youth for Peace and Development. It is a youth-run organization based in Cotabato City. And it is also my secret of not growing old. And it is also operating countrywide. And I am also a member of the third-party monitoring team. Thank you.
Thank you. This morning, we have released our fourth public report with a press conference. And because of the press conference, our meeting here, a little delay, but participation of the media was very good. It shows the hope of the peoples, at least wish of the peoples for the peace is still alive and still it is on the way. As a mandate of the TPMT, after each mission, in every 2 months, we are meeting with all stakeholders on the ground. The mainly both implementation panel is the main bodies we are meeting and discussing what is the progress on the process. This time also we do the same, and we have prepared our reports once a year. After all these missions in the country, we are preparing one exit letter for each panel. It is confidential for panels. We are not sharing to outside. It is covering the what we have seen on the ground and some recommendations. In our reports, we are doing the once a year. It is our mandate. Only TPMT is obliged to share something to public. Is these public reports. Actually, before we have released the public report, we are sharing with both panels. We are getting the comments of the both panels, but at the end, decision of the TPMT is independent, and we are publishing our reports accordingly. From the last 4 years, the decisions in TPMT taking for consensus, whatever we have saw on the ground, we are sitting together and we are evaluating together, putting some on the reports. There's some things already we have shared to outside, and already you have the copies of this report. I don't want to repeat and to say the similar things. Only 2 things we need to mention, I think. The BBL, situation of the BBL and the Marawi, both is very critical points. And again, we have started the peace process. During our press conference, I said we have spent 4 years in this TPMT. Now we are on the same point as we have started 4 years ago. BBL is on the legislation. But still, we are hopeful. I'm very hopeful and very optimistic. This time, it can be fulfilled. As a nature of our public forum, more than us, we like to listen to you. And your views are very important for TPMT to continue and evaluate what is the understanding of the grassroots. And only you can judge better than us what is the position of the peace process. Only the way to understand the mindset of the peoples on the ground, not limited with the Bangsamoro, also it is really very important. What is the feeling of the peoples living in Manila? Because this process is not limited with Bangsamoro. This process is related with whole country, whole Mindanao, whole Luzon, whole Visayas is part of this process. Convening in Manila with all stakeholders from the region and from the Manila is important for us, and we hope we can listen your feelings, your knowledge, what is happening on the ground, and it will guide us in a better way. For the language, many of the time we are facing difficulty. Everybody is free to talk in their languages. If they are facing any difficulty for the English, easily they can talk other languages. We can translate and we can listen. I think from my side, that much is enough to give the floor for all of you. Before this, I want to ask Karen and Rahib if they want to add something before the start.
Thank you, Brother Stein. It's good that you have mentioned that everybody can speak Tagalog if you want. I think I'm just going to add some more points, or some key points in the developments of the peace process. I think it's also important to know, or I know that everybody has also knowledge on this, that the new administration has been able to come up with a new roadmap, which was earlier revealed with two-track approach on the approach of legislation of Ibang-Samoro law and federalism. And second is that the peace banners have been restyled now. It's now an implementing panel. And the formal launch for this was done on August 13 to 14 in Kuala Lumpur, focusing more now on the task of implementing rather than the negotiation. And another thing that should also be known is that there have been concrete steps that we're taking towards greater inclusivity and convergence in the peace process. The Bangsamoro Transition Commission, or the BTC, was expanded from 15 to 21 members. So they can appoint more members that would represent different groups or sectors of the society. They have the MLF in the BTC, which is leading the BTC. And they have the MNLF Chekiri or Musema, they have the Christian settlers representatives, the women, youth, indigenous peoples, and they have no ulama. And they have also traditional leaders. And this also included, part of this inclusivity and convergence is the inclusion of other eminent group of normists who have now opted to follow or focus on federalism or federalism track. And they have now they've now declined to submit a proposed law that will amend the existing armed law. And I know that everybody knows that the only challenge lying ahead now under this convergence formula is how it survive in the hands of the Congress and how can compliant law be legislated. And other thing that can also be considered to be important is that there have been ceasefire mechanisms that have been created and refined over past administrations that continue to be effective, generally preventing misencounters happening between the forces of the MLF and the forces of the government. And they have worked smoothly, even amidst intensive military operations against the Bangsamoro Islamic fighters and against the other armed groups like the Multi Group, and as well as other law enforcement operations against drugs. And I think it's what I can add for what Brother Hussain has said to you. Thank you.
As civil society peace advocates who have been closely following the peace process, you probably know already a lot that we also know. I think the advantage of the TPMT report, we are able to meet with certain persons or like the other peace mechanisms to get a review of what they are doing and to summarize it and to give a yearly report, which in a way we also noticed that somehow the OPAP is not providing that kind of yearly summary of the developments. No, so we see. So these were Rahib mentioned some of these major developments, and we also note that there are still these challenges. No, so one of these challenges would be how to the two tracks. It's good to clarify that these are simultaneous, but there is still a question of BBL or federalism and how they will go together. Both now, just recently, have been mentioned as to be the priority of the House of Representatives and the Senate. They said BBL passage and also constitutional change and federalism. So how that will proceed is something we are awaiting, although they have said BBL can be first and to be finished by December this year. So that is something all of us will probably be watching closely and also engaging so that we really have as much as possible the BBL according to the CAB. The other challenge would be on constitutionality. Of course, the president has always mentioned that it should be constitutional, and then the items will be parked if they are not constitutional for the constitution change later. But which ones, again, it will depend on each lawyer, each congressperson, and maybe later the Supreme Court. No? So that is still the challenge we have to wait for. Then I think the process of normalization we also see that it has been proceeding somewhat slowly, partly because some of it is based on the BBL. So the BBL should be passed before the 30% next 30% decommissioning will happen. But still, there are some aspects of the normalization that could be improved as for the initial decommissioned combatant. So we have noted that the first 145 were not very satisfied with what they had received, or even the training, some of the training that they had received. The other is the TJRC, which is part of normalization. So the work of the TJRC had been completed with their report published in March last year, and then additional published report. But the next thing, which is I think all of you know this, the National Transitional Justice and Reconciliation Commission of the Bangsamoro should be established. But this one, they are having some issues on how to proceed with this. So up to now, a remaining issue, how they can convene this body that will work on the recommendations of the TJRC. So these are among the challenges. And maybe from here, unless you want to add some more, we can, yeah. Initially, that would be some of the things that we have put in our report.
Okay. I think we can give floor for our guest. And with a short instruction introducing yourself, you can share with us.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Dr. Maugan Musaida, the Association of Bangsamoro Doctors in the Philippines. Let me say in some of your provincial sorties, I have been there with you also. All throughout the peace process, I always harbor the feeling of ambiguity on the part of the government. Ambiguity because, especially from one administration to another. Well, at this point in time, we can't forget about the past administration. Anyway, for some of us, it was why the BBL got a rough sailing from the past administration. It was entirely because of the Mama Sapano incident. That was really very unfortunate. But even under the present administration, the Duterte administration, if we try to consider some of the milestones based on one, the pronouncement of the president, second, on the pronouncement of no less than leadership of Congress, especially Speaker Alvarez, and third, on the pronouncement of both panels. The two-track approach is ambiguous to me in the fact that one, while it is always possible that the BBL can sail on its course side by side with the federalism track, we have to bear in mind that while the BBL may be able to avoid the Constitution, federalism may definitely not. So if we are looking at a parallel course between the BBL and federalism, we are looking at a situation where federalism at some point may be stalled or even stopped because of constitutional issue. This is quite sure, even at this point, because if we try to look at the point, some have already expressed their reservation for a constitutional change, mainly due to federalism. While other points can be considered if we have to do a constitutional change. But the mere point that for now, only federalism is being highlighted, we can be very sure that some other considerations like economic, social reform agenda can be included in any proposed constitutional change. Right now, there is no, unfortunately, there's none or if at all, only very little mention of it. And that to me keeps the mindset of Congress a little away from being enthusiastic for accommodating a constitutional change. Now, there are also some popular clamor that that being the case, federalism may be stalled along the way or may even stop without Congress support. There are those who also flaunt the idea that why not proceed with the BBL, considering that BBL can be tamed along the way to so that it does not bump into the Constitution. And third, there are those also, since if we try to look at the structure of the BBL, basically it's already federal by itself. By state minister, the minister cabinet parliament, it's a parliament by itself. So they say, why don't we make BBL as the prototype for a federal Philippines? To me, that is always possible. But again, the mindset of Congress is always a problem. That to me could already be very ideal. BBL could possibly be a prototype for a federal Philippines. Now, the other one,
We could also entertain some other questions if you are.
Can I just finish?
Okay.
Last point. Okay, last point. Some quarters would like to look at CAB as, from the point of view, from the eyes of the MLLF, this becomes an issue because the latest announcement from the president is that we should come out with an all-inclusive BBL. From the side of the MLF, they said a BBL that would not be CAB compliant would be BBL that is not responsive to the aspirations of the Bangsamoro people. Now, these two things again could collide along the way, because the MLF can always stress the point that being not or not having any hand in the CAB may not be at all inclusive from the eyes of the MLF. So this again could be another issue. So I'd like to end from that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next. Actually, Doctor have summarized the current situation in a very good way. We need to listen you. Let's listen to it and chat. Actually, not only the questions, also these are the comments.
Pwede naman, tinirahan tayo ni brother. Pwede naman mag-Tagalog. Only who silent cannot speak Tagalog.
We will translate kung kailangan Tagalog. Tapos pwedeng may comments and questions, mag-entertain muna kami ng ilang.
Pero may mic para marinig ng iba.
Salamat. Tagalog na lang ang gamitin ko. So I to this place to travel very far away. I am from Marawi. Since the Marawi crisis na nasa Marawi pa rin, hindi pa rin umalis dahil gusto pa rin natin ang Marawi. For the before to ask my question, for the information of everybody, Marawi crisis is only 33 barangay totally devastated. The others barangay within among the 96 barangay is mayroon pang mga tao. So ang tanong ko kasi is addressed to the GPH nominee or the third party monitoring team. Kasi last July 19, 20 in Davao City, we have a meeting in Davao City with Isha Foundation. The one of the resource person at the time is the chairman of the GPH implementing panel. So my question ako sa kanya is related to question to the IM, to the TPMT. Ang tanong ko sa kanya, totoo ba yung narinig ko sa Marawi na she was resigned as chair of the GPH implementing team. So ang tanong ko sa TPMT, lalong-lalo na sa nominee, si Ma'am Karen, hindi ba maapektuhan ang trabaho ng TPMT, specifically the nominee of the GPH, sa posibleng pagretiro o pag-alis bilang mamuno sa panel ng GPH ni Ma'am Inday Santiago. Maraming salamat po.
Another question.
Sapa.
Wala muna, sabihin na lang. Okay, while you are thinking of the question o mga iba pa yung comment, Tagalogin ko lang or I will, sa palagay ko, una-una, alam mo, pag na-nominate kami sa TPMT, gobyerno ang nag-nominate, pero kailangan tanggapin ng MILF. Yung namang na-nominate ng MILF, kailangan din tanggapin. Kailangan katanggap-tanggap din sa gobyerno bago maging membro. Tapos pag nandun na kami sa TPMT, wala nang na ikaw nominee ng gobyerno, ikaw nominee ng MILF. Parang buo na kami na So lahat ng mga pag-uusap at mga decision namin as TPMT na yon, hindi na dapat influence kasi independent monitoring ba influensyahan kung sino pa yung nag-nominate sa'yo. So pwede ko rin banat-banatan ng gobyerno. So wala nang yon kung sino yung nag-nominate sa'yo. Bilang miyembro ka na ng TPMT. Ito namang nabalitaan nga natin yung ganon, pero hindi pa formal na anunsyo, di ba? Parang, but I think maraming alam naman natin here in the Philippines, a lot of talk is going on and people tend to know this information, no? But although it has not been formally announced about the resignation of Inday Santiago as the chair of the GPH implementing panel. So I don't think that will, firstly for the TPMT, that should not affect us. They will have a replacement immediately because there are many decisions that they need to make as GPH and MILF. No? For example, the government should nominate the new member of the TPMT to replace Stephen Rood, and that will be with the concurrence of the MILF, and they should do that in a joint meeting, preferred to be in Kuala Lumpur. Also, there are still some terms of reference that they have to work on, including some decisions about the Bangsamoro Normalization Trust Fund. Other issues like they have to make decisions on the amnesty aspect of normalization. So even though they say panel, there are things that they have to meet on in the presence of the Malaysian facilitator. So kaya dapat may replacement din kaagad si Ma'am Inday para jointly may magawang mga ilang desisyon na pending pa.
Hello. Sa kay Doc Musay, tulad ng sabi namin kanina, na mayroong inclusivity, andyan ang convergence. Ang Bangsamoro Transition Commission ay binuo ng mga representatives galing sa IT. Mayroon ng representative ang MNLF na Mosema in particular. At isang bagong development, parang okay na si Professor Lo na tutulong na siya doon sa federalism. And I think tama yung this will really be facing the challenge of issue of constitutionality. Ngunit ang BTC naman ay patuloy yan mag-engage sa mga tao dyan sa Congress. At isa sa one of the good things that we have heard from the President that gave us also a glimpse of hope is his that he will be passing the BBL. And if that will be successful, he will make it as a model for the federalization of this country. So isang na yun, maganda na narinig natin sa President. Kung hindi man mangyayari yan, hindi pa natin alam sa yan. But what's important is that there is that pronouncement from the President, and we hope that that pronouncement translates into a political will in passing a Bangsamoro Basic Law that will reflect the aspirations of the Bangsamoro for right to self-determination. So yun yung masasabi ko doon sa there is the effort for the unity and yan nangyayari sa pagitan ng gobyerno at ng MNLF ngayon at ang MILF at ng MNLF para pag-usapan at i-address ang problema na yan. So we hope that all these things will be addressed.
I don't know how many of you have read new BBL produced by the new BTC. Everybody is talking about more inclusive, better than the first draft. But again, this assessment is not only for the stakeholders, especially for the peoples on the ground. if you read the new BBL, is there any specific point you want to raise? It is important or it is changed?
Question, I think there's some there.
I'm Archie Buaya, an indigenous people belong to the Duray tribe from Confederated Descendants of Mamalu. Actually, my question is addressed to kay Ma'am Tanyada regarding dito sa independent peace panel. Knowing that we have the peace panel from different front. For example, we have panel for the MN headed by Sir Bong Parcasio, and of course for the MILF, and of course we also have for the NDF. But I'm konti dito sa independent peace panel dahil in terms of sa representation, they are all nominated by the OPAC. For example, for the Bangsamoro peace process, one of the IP from the Bangsamoro core area is also representing the agenda of the IP within the Bangsamoro core area. But sino yung magiging counterpart ng mga peace independent panel na to, and what is the major mandate of this group if they are, of course, dealing with the agenda and issues of the IP, not just from the Bangsamoro, but of course, even the NDF issue, they are also bibit-bitin din ng grupo na to. But I'm very much specific for the IP within the Bangsamoro core area because now we have the BBL, we have the Bangsamoro Transition Commission, MILF, we have the representative from both parties. That's why I wanted to know ano ba tong pinaka-mandate and objective ng peace independent na to panel. Thank you.
So our news about that independent peace panel is really also just from the reports that we get from media. No, we had not yet the opportunity to meet with the GPH to ask them about that independent panel. I think kayo pa in civil society had a more recent update to meet with Secretary Duresa. But we understand nga that this is created by government. No? So medyo yung being independent is not maybe not the right term to that peace panel. Then we also understand GPH MILF, but also GPH NDFP. So that will be part of their discussion. But in terms of the BBL, it seems they were no longer able to participate. Although somebody said they were able to give some of them submitted some document to the BTC, but we do not know the details of that. No? So they were a bit late to participate in the BTC, or to directly participate with the BTC. So siguro ganun nga yung nangyari. And as you said, there are also IPs who are in the BTC nominated by both the government and the MIF. And then finally, I think it is in a way just a body that can further, but it's still somehow positive, even though it's not maybe the ideal that the IPs had wanted, but it's still one venue where the IPs can engage to present their positions, especially probably to reach the government side on both the concerns of Bangsamoro and also the NDF struggle. So may question about independence, but it's still some forum that the IPs can use to to engage and to bring their proposals probably to the different parties. Okay lang ba yun?
Also, there is a good improvement. The number of the IPs in BTC have doubled. It's
Before.
true. But now it is from the two sides. One from the government.
Both same. Last time.
At least what I know, when I read the new BBL, there is more provision about the IPs in new BBL. There is some progress and view of the IPs more inclusive in new BBL. When you read, you will see it.
No Ipran. Si Gus earlier, si Gus nag-break lang natin.
Nauna si Sir Gas, then si Brata, then ikaw, Brother Jose.
Thank you, Brother Rahim, Sister Karen. I think it's very true that what Karen mentioned a while ago, that a lot of the things that have been reported, and pardon us for not being able to respond at once because we had to read only now your report. So our questions will be very instant and reactive. But just skimming through the report, it is true that most, if not a lot of the stuff that was written are things that most of us also already know. And this is the crux of the point that I wanted to bring up. But there was a clause, or there were some points in your report that said on confidentiality. So that would be the one that would be pricking my curiosity. What is the confidentiality? What were the information and the stuff that we still don't know covered by that clause of confidentiality? Given as it may, it's just something that's curious. But more substantially, I would, I think, like to propose to the TPMT in the next report, maybe publicly. Of course, you cannot send the report prior to a public presentation. That might be breaking your protocols and everything. But just perhaps to help us go through something like this, maybe just the highlights of a PowerPoint there, and then we can see and the challenges, etc., which were very well captured in the text already. But in a process like this, it would help facilitate such kind of a process. The other point that I wanted to ask, to say, is not what is the value added of TPMT now in this context of this new administration and the peace process? To me, I think the main value would be in the future. When an exit agreement is signed, it has to have your concurrence. So that's my own little understanding of this process. If you don't have concurrence to an exit interview, because things or the features of the agreement have not been fully addressed, then at least there is a body, and that is you, that's mandated by the agreement to sign on that. But prior to that, while this is what you are doing is what OPAP should have been doing. I mean, what you're presenting, a year summary, we don't see anywhere, and that is one big value for us who are unable to get something more or less independent or more or less objective report of what has happened in the past with regards to the process. That is, to me, one of the main value now, and in the future, your asset to the exit again. But apart from that, is there something else that you would like to do and be of more value to the process that we in civil society can partner with you with, or can help you with, or could do with you? I'm just curious what you think about that. But allow me, since I'm already, allow me to. I just came from a 2-day stakeholders meeting in Davao, and a lot of Unipad members were there, and peace weavers, etc. And we had a good, well, it was fortunate that we were able to engage some of the major actors of the Marawi crisis, and the PA Duresa came at night in an instant invitation, and he engaged us until the wee hours of answering questions and trying to show himself as an action man. Our specific proposals being acted upon on right there and then, and putting his phone on speakerphone so we could hear the response of the person that he talks to with regards to our proposals. So, and Attorney Lingating was also there, the IPP panel head, and Karen is right. It is not independent in the sense it's government panel, government process, a mechanism that would like to bring together the various IP voices into the process. Of course, they could, and it's more geared towards the NDF process. Be that as may, it does have some value in the sense that it has contributed, it wants to contribute to this process. But I think the challenge for us and for our IP brothers and sisters is to indeed create and establish an actual independent panel by ourselves or by civil society. One thing about you asked, sir, what we find in the BBL that we should want to propose. I read the new draft once, and I think it's a better version than the first version. But one that with regards to our IP friends, the IPRA, there was no mention at all or reference at all to IPRA as a law, although some of its features were mentioned, but not as a law. And I think that would, to me personally, I think it's a negotiating point in Congress and in the process.
Thank you. Confidentiality. Yeah, let's answer. That answer. Let me say something about the confidentiality. The mandate of the TPMT is make us confidential on time of the 1 year. In every 2 months, we are convening in Philippines and we are writing exit letter. It is confidential because it is covering some recommendation and findings. In every 3 months, quarterly reports we have, it is also confidential because it is not time to share to outside. The things are going up. But in every year, we have a public report. It is not confidential. And whatever we have done in last year, we are sharing to outside openly. We are asking the both sides what we think about our reports. If any comments, we are assessing again in TPMT, but report is the consensus of all TPMT members. Therefore, result and work of TPMT at the end is not confidential. On the way we are going, of course, it needs to be confidential. Some things of the business of the TPMT. Sometimes it is the dealing of the both sides. Maybe we are acknowledging some things is happening between the government and MALF, but it is not our concern and it is not our position to declare it. The position of TPMT is not depends the TPMT.
There's still a lot, sorry. There's still an additional rice mill coming aside from that snack. So there's a question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Uh,
That is the lunch, nurse.
Actually, it was confused. Normally, we have proper lunch altogether, but the place, I think, it's not allowed. And the time is too much limited. After the public forum, we have another meeting. Today, we have 3. Therefore, we need to catch it, inshallah. The position of the TPMT is not from the TPMT. We didn't come and convene in Philippines in our intention. The government and MILF have agreed in CAB to make a TPMT and mandate the TPMT for this mission. New government already saying that the CAB is in their hands and they will continue with the CAB. If the CAB is continue, if the process is continue, TPMT need to be continued. There is many components on the process. One of them is the TPMT, but not only. Many other components need to go all together.
Mga bangsamoro sa oras tanun na 10 minutos din inilampas sa katlo sa maulam. Pagkapanganik kami sa meton sa tudod pamaning kagatapad sa niya ba ako tika ka hanggang tanong muna so kutika para kanu kapadawag kanu azan sa sakan waktu na asyar. Sa pulunggo tlo siya sa kanu ikatlo sa maulam so schedule kapadawag tanu sa bang siya sa kanu station tanu 99.0 Voice FM. Kagalo na di gomos kapadawag sa bang na nanto ba sa meton mga kabang sa moro pamikinig sa sagunan niya. So kinapangadan no third party monitoring team atau ka TPMT kano ikapat din niya uman mo maisalagon kapabiliw nila kano katigan kapabaya gilang kano ngin ikan nila na mga naggalbek siya sa kano kanilan sa metro na assignment siya sa kano kapitila na gobyerno ng Pilipinas niya ng Moro Islamic Liberation Front. Na nasalog katuntayan na so TPMT niya mga bangsamoro na sila sa metro ni monitor review bagases siya sa kano kabag implement kanu lang no mga napasadan siya sa kanu kambalan niya party mana sa gobyerno nando so MILF salta na nyali lang sa meton siya babatikan na bagilay na sita ma-implement like isa na so framework agreement ng Bangsamoro nando so mga annexes so mga nakadalam loan ikisa na so pag ano mga kanila na mga galbakan na naka-monitor kapag-evaluate sa kanulang ano ibag-implementa lang una mga kapasadan ikadwalo na anto maka-review ka-assess kano progress so kapag-implement kano mga commitments so dua kambala grupo so gobyerno ng Pilipinas tando so MILF, kapag sila sa mga kapag-submit sa comprehensive periodic reports, update sa kano parties, sa dua kambala, asal ka pamanin na kaangganin to sa kano nasisita action, action ng gobyerno at action ng MILF. Ag-communicate pag ganol kanila nagalbakan sa kano niya ba, kapayag kan public progress and development so kapag implementan niya kano agreement so langon ng mga kapasadan mo dua kambalan niya grupo ginagamet mga bangsamoro na amayan to sa ulian ng kapitawag sa waktu na asaran niya sa bang na balingan tano di kano populitas kaginaarap po sa gado untuk open forum o CSO so dama kalu ang mga civil society organizations ang may kinisagunan na nawas chancho sa makinagusungin anggulakan untuk kagayan to alhamdulillah kinapresento TPMT siya sa kano ikapat na niya uman mo may lagun kanila na public report ginakameto na niya muna so azan siya sa kano waktu na asar.
You are listening to 99.0 FM Voice FM. Voice FM, the new voice of Cotabato.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الله أكبر الله أكبر لا
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي على صلاة الله سمع الله لمن حمده Allahu Akbar.
Imatayan atau kadita lupaunin sa mga cellphone tano. Gagalo asya tano kanuludab ko masjid.
Hayya ala falah wa la ilaha illallah.
So untuk apa tadem, na ini sampai sa Kanono Alva Laga Foundation, ando so DXJC 99.0 Voice FM.
Lumpingan umatid tua rumbuno pembantangan sa Bandar Cotabato sa pulo-pulo ni Bangsamoro. Ingid sa Pilipinas, taman kulang kumadunya. 99.0 Prime Radio Cotabato, DXJC Voice FM. Singan nakalilintad ando baya-bayatan ulangon. You are listening to 99.0 FM.
Sa oras tano, mga Bangsamoron, na sa 18 ka minutos din, inilang pasin sa ikatlo sa malulam. Kaginakamenton, na nagagalo no kabagibdaso, kabajambayang sa asar, na naganto na kambalingan, no, inshallah, yan, na patao sa bun, so kapamaikinago, kano segudo, anto, nauna sa meton, naka-replatan, no, report to third-party monitoring team, atau ka TPMT siya sa kano ikapat din niya, ay nipayagilan, kanila ng mga galbakan, siya sa kano kamonitoриlan, kano kapasadan, ano kabag-implemento gobyerno ng Pilipinas, nando so more Islamic Liberation Front, kano donganin san nga pagumpungan. Sa Baplo, niya so sagado kinanilimudan lo sa Manila, no grupo ng TPMT, nando so mga timalabo ka membro, mga leaders so civil society organizations.
Up to both sides have agreed to continue on the same roadmap, we will be here, and our mandate is very clear, and we will fulfill all mandates up to our duration. I don't know, Karen?
Yes, I'll add something and then Rahib also. Maybe in terms of confidentiality, I would also say that although we have the capacity and we have been meeting sometimes with MILF commanders, with the Central Committee, with AFP, etc., I don't think we have really learned any so secret information that would also not be known to several of you. So there's nothing really something so secret that we find out that, you know, in our society somehow is also not known to others. Yeah, it's just that we have somehow the capacity to try to put it together. And then we do make recommendations, although our position is more monitoring. With every exit letter, we do make some recommendations that is addressed to the two, GPH and MILF. And actually, there are some recommendations that we feel that if they had listened to, maybe, you know, some problems could have been anticipated. But, you know, that's a problem. We just give some recommendations, but I think like civil society, whether it will be really listened to, sometimes it's up to government and MILF. Then we repeat it again. Paulit na, no? Repeat na again. But anyway, we repeat it in our next exit letter, and sometimes there's still nothing done. So maybe that's, you know, the reality.
Okay, thank you. I just
follow up
just few these are the points. I think the issue of confidentiality, the confidential information are actually, it is the TPMT that define or determine whether this information is confidential or not for that time. So if it is said that divulging that information will not be help to the peace process, then it is considered to be confidential. And will just be, the report is just submitted to the GPH and to the MLF as it is confidential and not yet to the public. Then, to the question whether there is questionnaire whether PPMT is needed only in the future. I think it is also needed this time because we've been meeting with the different stakeholders, with the different groups. First, to be able to listen to their feelings, to understand the feelings, and for us to be able to get some recommendations from them. Then, if there is nobody that will be doing that, then there can be no information that will be given to the government and the AMLA, because some concerns of the different groups have to be immediately given solutions or acted upon. So through this body, the government and the AMLA are informed of the information that we have gathered from the different groups. And it's also good that the future has been mentioned here, because in the TOR of the TPMT, after the transition and upon the start of the regular government, the government and the AML responders and the third-party facilitator and the TPMT will convene for them to be able to assist the overall implementation of the agreements. And from that, they'll be able to say whether the exit agreement is already needed or not. And it is the TPMT that will tell the government and the AML, yes, it is one of them, that is something about the implementation of the agreement. So, ganon yan. So I think it is also needed now and really needed in the future until the transition is done. Si Brad, Paolo Sergas?
Wait, mag-mic po kayo.
Tahir Sulaiman, Secretary of the Board of Trustees, the Mindanao Action for Peace and Development. Will it suffice that we heard House Speaker Alvarez and Senate President Pimentel say their commitment that the new BPL draft be among their priority legislative agenda? We expected categorical statement from President Duterte as regards pushing for the immediate passage of the BPL by Congress, but unfortunately, we did not hear it. The comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro, whose implementation you are mandated to monitor, explicitly provides that the President should certify the draft BBL as an urgent bill.
So it was not mentioned in the SONA, although during the submission, the turnover of the BBL, the draft BBL by the BTC, there was mention by the President that he would push it, the BBL, to be passed immediately. But they did not mention the certification as urgent. It could also really be because from what we understand also, based on the rules of the House of Representatives, the certification as urgent only comes upon the passage of the bill on second reading. And then that speeds up the process for the third reading. This has been mentioned that these are certain change in the rules of the House of Representatives. So maybe actually there is in that case, maybe the thing in the CAB is not really doable immediately. Although it can still be done. The President can certify it as urgent, but after it has passed already by second reading. So he can still fulfill it, except that it will be a bit late in the process.
Ang problema lang kung marami ng changes na nangyari bago siya certify. Because if it is after reading, after second reading, there might changes happen already, and the president will certify the. So yun yung isa sa mga challenges siguro.
So parang ito po yung challenges nga in the coming time period, no? So we have been told that the bill will pass, their target is by December 2017. Pero what kind of bill it will be, there is no clear promise by the president that it will be passed as submitted, mentioning that it must be constitutional, and that those that are not constitutional will be parked and then will be pushed in the new constitution. So ito yung, I think this is the call now for us as the civil society. So biglang tayo ulit dyan na ma-push pa rin talaga yung pinaka-maayos nga na bill. In the past, ano rin yan, dilemma rin para sa atin yan, no? How much of CAB compliance do we have to push? Or can we be satisfied that some can be done later? Because sabi ng iba, dahil it will important daw na magkaroon ng Bangsamoro government that will sit by to have possible 2019. So ito yung mga challenge sa atin. The same legislators are there. Congressman Lobriga, Congressman Atienza. So pareho po ang
And so si Haji Mursid, then para may babae na.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Magandang hapon po. I am very much happy, and I'd like to acknowledge that happens in me because of the on that about the challenge now is to be able to stop terrorism swiftly. I want to acknowledge this part of your report. To stop terrorism swiftly, yet with a careful, comprehensive, and long-term mission. We need this really very much. As a matter of fact, we have been very consistent since before, even the MOA idea. By the way, I am Duma Imascot, Chairman of the Mindanao Alliance for Peace, based in Cotabato City. As I have said, we have been very consistent about this, even during the time of the MOA idea. There is short of the result of the MOA idea is Cato organized themselves into continuously fighting the government. Even up to this point in time, there are still remnants of Cato in the area. And that was this offshoot of the MOA idea. Now, there is the frustration again, the last administration. So that's why I'm really happy of seeing this report. Hopefully, that this will be given a great emphasis on the part of the government. Last July 18, there was a press conference made by the various civil society, not only in Central Mindanao, because participants coming from who joined with us in the press call. So in other words, more or less it could be called as Bangsamoro White Praise Konatla. Then we made mention about this, and we are also, this is now the term I want to read to you. BBL is the best alternative path to peace, development, and harmony in Mindanao. That was our goal at the time. So I think this is similar to your observation. And hopefully, this is a very nice report as far as we are concerned. This is a very nice report on the part of the TPNT. And I am pretty sure that it will reach the President, it will reach the OPA. No? Rest assured that this will be taken into consideration much by the government part. My questions to be similar to Kagas here. I just want to follow up a little. In your report and suggestion submitted to Office of the President, to the OPA perhaps, if you give a percentage of those recommendations you made, how much percentage was followed by the GPH, how much percentage was followed by the EMI? 1 to 10 perhaps. I hope you won't mind. Confidential. Okay. So we understand. In the sense, at the very beginning, it was being emphasized by you also that this is something like very secret. So we understand your point. But then delaying, I just want to be reminded of this because as part of my previous statement, delaying the BBL connotation of another option, another problem that may add to the already existing problem in Mindanao. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Somebody wanted to ask a question. We follow up.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. From the office na Bangsamoro. So, I have the same question kanina. What are the recommendations sana ng third party monitoring team to the new administration? So, gusto ko sana siya malaman those recommendations. And then the second one is, what are the security measure na recommendation nyo na hindi na mauulit yung mamasakan mo so that it will not spoil the peace talk? Recommendation nyo on the security measure. The third one is, as an educator, I see here alternative learning system. So, as an educator, medyo I am a little bit worried to those out of school youth. I know you monitor who are the recruits with all that stuff. So maybe you can suggest or maybe strengthen alternative system on the grounds so that we can save the next generation. So because I see here, hindi siya naramdaman sa field eh. Hindi naramdaman sa grassroots yung, although the DepEd, which is I belong, is meron ding ALS, pero not enough, no budget to cater all. So I hope we can include the recommendation on strengthening the alternative learning system since you started it here. Thank you.
I'm Zulfikar Samsaraji from Unipad. My question is, how will Congress harmonize the new proposed BBL, the new autonomous law of Miswari Group, and the federalism platform? That's all.
Some of the questions, no? Still on maybe these recommendations being done by the TPMP. Sometimes there are just simple recommendations, like even from the past, that we would tell them that it would be really good that they improve their communication and information regarding the BBL. No? So we remind them to really have a good communication plan. So it seems now that they have started to do that communication plan, although we had been recommending that 3 years ago. But I don't think it is really that totally they lack doing it, because somehow the government and the MILF made some attempt in this communication plan, but maybe it's just not enough, or maybe the peace ambassador, the tweet was the right strategy. So those things happen. No? And then it also comes up with the usual problem of the bureaucracy, the procurement, etc. It's like I recall, I think Professor Chair Miriam Ferrer, no? This simple thing of buying the solar panels for the camps that they had identified had a problem because of the usual bidding process in government. So it took so long that I think it has been not done now during this administration. Then I think also everybody knows, or most people know, na the budget of the BTC has hardly been released, di ba? Ang 10 million na ba daw ang utang? So things like this, and it's the same problem for mechanisms that we would consider very important, like the CCCH and other bodies. No? So merong big problem of moving the bureaucracy. So sometimes when you say what percent has been implemented, it's, I don't know, it's the problem of talagang the operations nagkakaproblema. So in a way, it's more on the part of the government, actually, because they're supposed to be pushing these things.
Harmonizing of the different MN, MI federalism, already new BBL is joining of some MN fractions of the BTC. Main request of the MN have put inside the BBL, both in territory and natural resources. And also the recent meeting with the President and Chairman Miswari, Miswari will not give any more amendment for the BBL. It means their request already there. I think there will be no more committee on the Congress to converge to track. Federalism is totally different. It cannot be converged with the MIMN, but what they are saying now, it will be template for the federalism. First we will see BBL, then the federalism will come.
Yes, although you cannot completely separate this babyism, as it is always, because these are two tracks. And if President will succeed in federalizing the country, there must always be a place for the Bangsamoro in the federal state. So, but what people want is that the BBL must be passed first before federalism. So that's very clear. And it's good that Hussain has mentioned that the group of Normeswari, Professor Normeswari, is no longer submitting an mandatory law, as you mentioned. So they will be focusing on doing things in support to the federalism, to the plan of the president. And will probably endorsing one person or two persons in the Constitutional Committee or Commission on Federalism. And I think that's going to be a good thing that happened. And second is that I just want to give some response to some comments to Haji Rashid comments on our report. Yes, that is right. Government has to be very careful because we have actually observed this, that government has always been using military approach in addressing all these kind of problems. The way we see it is that using military approach cannot address this problem. But in the very root cause of the problem, and it has to be addressed. I think addressing the root causes or the structural underlying causes of the problem is more effective than this military approach. But we're not questioning this because this is what the government sees. But we believe that addressing the root cause of the problem is going to be more effective than this military approach of addressing this problem.
Yes, please. First, yes, ma'am first.
And then, hello kayo. Magandang hapon. Beth Yang mula sa Pilipina at WIAP 1325. We conducts conversations with a significant group of CSOs. What I'm actually looking for in the report is a statement on the CSO's role in monitoring the implementation of the CAB, and of course the push for the lobby of the BBL. So I would like to ask, in your conversations with CSOs in the past months, is there a sensing of growing consensus on things pertaining particularly, for example, to the BBL? Because as we know, we were all happy. I mean, there were some of us who said that support na lang the BL bar, no? And then just wait for the implementation and then work for the reform once the BTA or the new Bangsamoro government is set up. But there are also some who said was very about faithful to the CAB. Is there a sensing of the TPMT as a collective or maybe individually that are we still in the same situation of broken voices? Because that will of course affect also the push for the passage, no? So for example, I have a sensing that it's more fragmented than before. I may be wrong, because some are pushing for BBL first and then federalism, but some are also, I also hear some CSO leaders saying that federalism na tayo. So that's one. Two, of course, the declaration of martial law in Mindanao. I think we hear on social media that some CSOs say martial law is good for Mindanao, but many, I don't know if it's many, but some of us are also saying that no, it cannot be, martial law cannot be, and it cannot be extended. So in all of these issues, for example, is there a sensing of the TPM? There is
growing concern or there is a growing divergence?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mobin Lamla, Unipad from Basilan Province. I was born in the smoke canon of the 1972 martial law established by Ferdinand Marcos. And after that, a year's negotiation had been done by the MNLF. And the journey of the peace process is too long. And the MLF is coming after the negotiation. And the MLF came in. And the peace process was interrupted by mga Sabang. And now, the Marawi crisis. So, it is a long, long process. My question is, how is the sincerity and commitment of the Philippine government to solve this issue? Billions of pesos have been lost, deaths, lives of innocent civilians. So, how is the sincerity of the government to solve this issue? This is John's question. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all of you. I am from the Human Affairs Committee of the Unit. One of the functions of the TPMT is to monitor and evaluate the implementations of design agreements. My question is, there are agreements which was not implemented by the government. Example of this, creation of the NTRCP or the Party on the Normalization Annex. So, as one of the monitors, how do you react or handle or address to this kind of issue? Is it one of your mandate, or if it is not one of your mandate, then how can you be of help for the government to do its part and so of the MILF for the proper implementation of the signed agreements? Thank you.
For a while, martial law, it is affecting, of course. Already we face martial law in Mindanao. It is affecting the daily life, it is affecting the business, it is affecting everybody. And we hope it will not continue too long and it will not affect the peace process as a result. When you ask the sincerity of the both sides, it is really very difficult to decide from both sides. How can we say that it is not only limited to governments? We need to ask the both sides, sincere or not. How much they are sincere? The only thing in MILF side, there's a same phase in panel. In the government side, in every 6 years, it is changing. The continuity is not there. But we can judge the peoples, not with their speeches, we can judge them, what they are doing. Actually, peace process have been restarted by the Duterte administration just now. BBL have been prepared, BTC have drafted the BBL and submit to President. After this, we will see how the Duterte administration will continue stuck on the peace process. Will they serious, will they sincere or not? After this, we can say something. We are here, I am here in Philippines last 4 years. First, when we convened in the Philippines,
talk have been signed, the cup have been signed, and we was the almost same position like today. Still, we are waiting for legislation. Still, we are waiting the legislative form of the cup come into life, and implementation, real implementation need to start. Of course, during these 4 years, some things happened for normalization, for socio-economic aspects. There was some progress, but the real job will start after the BBL. Then we can say something more. Always from the beginning, civil society is very important. I believe from now on it will be more important, especially the problems are continue in the Marawi. Similar problems can be solved only participation of the civil society to process more than before. Karen?
Mga sulod pagali nami abang makikinig sa kanang programa tano sa Lindaw Kanoingad na anto din ba sa meton supad kanong mga kinaidsa nando kinasawal no mga miyembro no third party monitoring team atau ka TPMT siya sa kano kinapangadan nila na niya sa kano fourth annual public report luna baton sa Ortigas sa Metro Manila kano kagayan to sa mapita na yan tulo program na sudan so kinapangalilan sa press conference yan man na tinalabukan ng mga media ganat siya sa ingad yan man siya sa Cotabato City nando sa mga media lo sa Manila nando ada mo international media el kanila na coverage siya sa kano malulam mga lukas pagali nami i-monitor kano unto forum siya sa kano kinapayag o TPMT kano kanilan sa meton nanggalbag siya sa kano mga nepos sa Nialagon tinalabukan sila no mga miyembro no civil society organizations tudlo man kinagwan to kinapagijaya apiyaning kalagan sa meton ni ang lang ito sa bahasa English na antuwi kapag kasulutin si Hussein Oruchan niya na Turki niya Turki siya sa kanin nangati makausal sa kanin sa bahasa English kan lumapyaso kan jabuta sa kanin na gagalo yung pamanin na nakapangunahan sa anto presentation so TPM tika gina sudan so gonutan nila na so andangan pa EU ambassador siya sa kano ingad no sa Pilipinas na liga pa ginawanin lukon sa Brussels sa anto batimpo so daban na masulut digid tanto kun bangang laga okay na so taga padali la Sir Hussein Uruj mana so siya sa government nasira mama sila Dr. Rahib Kudo na silang sa metong tulo facilitate sa kanu pinapayag kanu accomplishment activities no TPMT base sa kanu kanina nagalbuk sa kanu ka monitoran niya sa kanu kapasadan ay bag-implement to do kambalan niya grupo magidyan sa gobyerno nando so grupo na More Islamic Liberation Front. Madagdag mga issues and concerns, ikaisalo na subang sa Moro Basic Law, ikadwalo na so federalism pamaning kay summarized no, ikatlo na so violent extremism, so Marawi incidents, so issue na MNLF under professor sa kano kanila na proposals na masikan to ba mga nakadaram siya sa main points to pinalyo ng mga CSOs kanila nagginawa karon to kinalimod Luz Ortigas. Mga bangsamoro, usayan tanawo, Sonia Bityala, siya sa pada mga kutika, siya sa salindaw inged, sultanan na bakinagatan mo, inshallah, sa isninan to siya sa piyapapita bangsamoro, so news and public affairs program tano. Kaya nangit sa maya na malo pagka-handlo katabon nun ka masikan maso mga takoras, pampasaman saltanan na pipandayan tanong pansamapya, so ito sa meto na ginagawa audio recorded forum, kaya nag-sponsor na so TPMT, lunabato nito sa Manila, kaasar ka mapya kakinagulon. Na malta sa maya patulatudan, kaya na indonang ka makaliwan niya so abang sa moro, taga-padano siya, sa kapasa na program tanon yan na batalon tanong kapini kapitanan niya si Bay Kanaya Alhaja as kanini Jerwo mantan siya sa barangay Dato Balabaran so karena benar niya tatapang kay bape takape so padayan tanong kapitanan tanong siya sa mother barangay Dato to ka barangay Dato Balabaran. Yarin siya muli na naipajampay ko so malalaban daw salama Mr. Kanulangon, mga bangsamoro, magijanay ka na bangsamoro so IPs, so mga Christians, ito ka doon sana mga lumpukan na may kinilig sa programa tano, mga nito sa Lautalas, so nakuha no siya mga bidyala, makipantag sa garbakano, third party monitoring team niya. Ito ka so TPMT kano ka pambantay, ka monitor, kano implementation so gobyerno ng Pilipinas so MLF actually nambitiala pun luwas sa mga normalizations gupad pa na mga peace infrastructure sa kapitalian ng gobyerno na so MLF niya na hipajalam atau kapajalam namis kano sa mapya gay sa kananya malilinta dagay yan kalagin sa maya malubon ipon pagkalanak sa tido so mga dalpa tatap gawgal siya naman niya labur marami siya niya so bumikinig siya sa 37 barangay sa Cotabato City kaya malam sila no so outside Cotabato siya sa mga municipality sa Sakupa probinsya ng Maguindanao so siya sa municipality sa under siya kano North Cotabato labilawan siya kano Lanao del Sur areas, Lanao del Norte. So bagilay sa YouTube, naka-live din sa mga taman sa panuntulo po siya sa kano Facebook ko, personal, to Alfonso, panuntulo po sang kaya ni share tano po niya, live coverage tano. Kano nepusan niya, gay, lu sa Manila. Niya recorded program tano ni napantyalitan. Wagi ba katuntayan no. Kaya malo ganos blida pa doon tayo santo Inglesan to kaya ada mundo pedua mga basa Tagalog masih kena dengan to na mo semikin. Ngalan mo dan control si voice to Rehan Abang. So ingalabon mambo papadean tano station manager tano si Tornes Pangsamor Talipasan. Gusto taga-pada siya sa United Youth for Peace and Development. To kayo ni pada yang Banguluan na si Ustad Dr. Rahib El Kudo. Ano so bago kiguang kano sa muklian na kutika tano si Voice 19 Miranda Sansawi. Akhlan o sakhlan. Yang ba suglaya pa no? Susuldo si Voice 13 aming balingan sa live sa kano programa tano sa Lindaw kano inged. Mapian na ulang bang samuro. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.